Welcome back to another episode of the Silly Little Girls Club, and my guest today is the incredible Humeara Mohamed, who has the most insane story and path into her career as a freelance copywriter and journalist. She writes for huge publications like Vogue, Marie Claire, Refinery29, and also has this most incredible story about getting married on Zoom during lockdown, which it's giving sitcom. So anyway, I really hope you enjoy the episode. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Silly Little Girls Club podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I'm so excited to be a silly little girl.
I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that you said that you would come on the podcast, because I think we try and get so many different types of guests on, and I really wanted to get you on for your story, but to get some insight in what you do, because you have this incredible career in journalism and copywriting, and I think not a lot of people know what goes into that and behind the scenes, and how you even get into that. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard. I feel like it feels so far away and out of reach for a lot of people. Also, can't believe you really wanted me on the podcast. What are you joking? That's so exciting.
Oh my god, no, I just thought it was I always make a list of dream guests, and then Holly's tells me who I actually should get because of interesting conversations. And she's like, yeah, Humeara, she needs to be on this. So I was like,
right,
perfect.
thanks, Holly.
Yeah, thanks, Holly. So I think for me, what I'd love to do is sort of pick your brains a little bit and talk about how you actually got into this, because I think that, when you're at school and you're a kid and there's you don't know what you want to do and how you get into something. It's just how was that for you? Is this something you've always wanted to do, or did you stumble into it?
So I knew I always wanted to do something creative, because honestly, I came out the womb writing poetry, for goodness sake. I'm not even joking. I was in year 1 or something, and I wrote this poem about bees, and my mom laminated it and put it on the wall, and I was like, that's so lame, but it's quite
it's cute.
So I've always been into writing, and I've always been been holding paintbrushes or something. Or something. I'm just always doing something creative. So I actually initially wanted to be a hairdresser, and that was my dream. And you know what? I would get up at the crack of dawn, 4 a.m. I'm not even joking. Say I had to get up for school at 7, I'd get up at 4 so I could do these intricate braids in my hair and be ready for school on time. My mum would be like, "Wow, you did that yourself?" And I'd be like, "Yeah,
you've been since 4, mum. It looks great."
But I wanted to be a hairdresser, but in the South Asian community, it's quite hard to sort of say that you want to be in a creative industry. It's not about judgment or anything like that, but I think a lot of our parents have come from such poor backgrounds that then they just want the best for their children, and they want them to be able to have a good living and earn enough money. Also, my mum was a little bit of a rebel, and she did an art degree, and then she didn't end up doing anything with it. So I think for her, she was like, I don't want you to make the same mistakes. So I don't know, it came to school GCSEs, and I picked some sciencey subjects, and also when you had to pick your work experience, you had to pick two different bits of work experience over 2 weeks. And the first week I spent it at an optician's, which it was so boring, but I did it to
just check you weren't into doing that.
Yeah, honestly, I was maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe this life could be for me, and it wasn't.
No.
And then I did 1 week at a magazine, and oh my god. So all I did for the week was follow this incredible editor around, going for lunches, going to shoots. Oh, my first shoot, I was like, this is amazing. And she let me do this page in the back of the magazine. It was and I don't know, I picked Emma Watson to write do a page on Emma Watson, because I was a kid and into Harry Potter,
and we all love Emma Watson. She's
exactly.
So chic.
Exactly. I have no idea if I even wrote any words on that, or if I just got to pick some, I don't know, quotes that she said to other people or whatever, because I was 14. I don't know how I managed to get my name in that magazine.
That's pretty good going.
It was crazy. But anyway, after that week, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do forever. And I think that's quite rare, knowing what you want to do from the age of 14.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Very lucky and very rare.
100%.
And I suppose that's a really nice way to navigate creativity with writing and stuff, with the serious jobs that your parents want you to have. That's actually a really smart way to navigate it.
Exactly, because I was like, look, I know that this sounds scary, but I know exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to research the exact path and the exact way to get into this, and I know I'm going to do it.
Oh my god, that's so amazing.
But yeah, and then so I ended up doing English and art and whatnot for A-levels, and then when it came to applying for unis, I actually deferred my place and took a gap year because basically my family lived in the Middle East at the time. They lived in Dubai, and in order to sort of start in magazines, you have to do internships or be an assistant, and these jobs are just paid so little, if at all. I don't know if it's a little bit better now. I feel like it's probably not that much better.
I don't know. I feel like I still rewatching The Hills. When they had on The City, when they had these internships, and it was like, oh my god. So imagine if it's still like that. I don't know.
Also, you keep referencing The Hills, and I've never watched The Hills.
How have you never watched The Hills, Humeara? Oh my god, it's iconic.
Shock horror. I've also never watched Sex and the City. I know the team at Grazia were actually a bit pissed at me. They're like, "You can't work here and not have watched that."
It is literally an institution. Really weirdly, I made Greg, my other half, watch Sex and the City through, like from start to finish recently, and he was obsessed. We used to watch 4 or 5 episodes a night.
Oh, what?
It's so relevant still.
I don't understand. I've just completely missed it.
You need to just watch it.
Maybe I'm too young. Technically, I am Gen Z. So maybe I missed it.
But it's still, honestly, it's still so relevant. I feel like even as Gen Z, you need to watch it, especially working in I know you're the beauty side, but it still bleeds into the fashion side and the beauty side. It's like
a bit of a badge of honor now, though, isn't it? I'm like, oh, I've never watched Sex and the City.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. Like, I'm different. I've never watched it, but I'm like,
so cool.
This is. Yeah, I feel like at least The Hills, because that is so internshipy and magazine.
Okay, I will watch these things.
Yeah, you should.
I swear.
It'd be good. But you've probably got more important things to do, like actually growing your career and writing nice copy and things.
I mean, yes, but also I burn through shows like there's no tomorrow. I don't know how I do it, so I can't eat food without watching a show, and I can't shower without watching a show.
Oh my god, maybe not the shower because I haven't got a TV in my thing.
No, me neither. But okay, you know
Your
how
phone.
Everyone's got the suction cups on the back of their phone and I stick it on the shower.
But then you've got no excuse. You've got all this extra time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Right. Anyway,
back to the conversation. So you're in Dubai and you've done a gap year and you're working in these magazines.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I was saying that you need to live somewhere, right? Because you need to intern or be an assistant, and those things just aren't paid well enough. You need to be privileged in some way, which is such a shame. And the industry needs to do better to work on that, because then you end up with only having the same kinds of voices in the industry.
Yeah, it's like an echo chamber then.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, if I'd moved back to the UK, my family's based in the Midlands in Leicester, and so I wouldn't have had the money or the means to get down to London to intern for free. I don't have family in London. So it made sense to stay in Dubai because that's where all the magazines in the Middle East are based. And so I was really lucky that I had this amazing way to just intern for free. My dad could drop me off in the morning. I didn't need to be earning money, you know, and that was amazing. And that was my first sort of real foray into the world of magazines, and it was just incredible. And that's when I really kind of got stuck in and was writing all the time. I think it took them a few months to trust that I could write. Yeah. But once they realized that I could actually write, I was writing so many pages, and I was 17, I think.
Wow.
I'm not even joking. 17 is a bit old for this, okay? But I didn't even know how to take cash out of a machine, because I remember my editor was like, "Can you go get me some cash out?" And I was like, "No."
No, what?
But I was writing all these pages. It's insane. And it was a really interesting vibe, and it was so exciting to kind of understand exactly how a magazine works. And basically, Grazia Middle East was owned by ITP. It still is, actually. And there were just a bunch of different magazines on this one floor. So there was Grazia on one table, Hello on one table, Women's Health on one table. And it was just so cool, because you knew you would cross and you would speak to all of these really cool people all the time, and you'd be sat on the same table as your editor-in-chief. And it's not like it is in the movies where the editor-in-chief is really scary and away in a glass office somewhere. It was so cool. And I remember one week my editor, her name was Sophie Bieber, and she was the fashion and beauty editor. She was either on holiday or on a press trip or something, and she'd organised the sort of most of this cover shoot that we had coming up, but I had to sort of call in all of her samples and make sure that everything was ready for her return, so that she could just come back and be there at the shoot. And it was the most stressful week of my life, right? And my editor-in-chief was like, yeah, we sat on the same table and stuff, but she was still a wee bit scary. And I remember at the end of the week, she pulled me aside and she just went, well done this week. You've done well.
Oh
And I
my
was
God.
like,
You're like,
oh my God. It was like dark outside. It was like 9 p.m. or something. I was like waiting for my dad to pick me up, but I was like, it's worth it.
I did it. Unpaid, but I did it.
Exactly.
Like, that's wild.
But I was there for like a year, and I was there for free for about 3 months, and then they gave me a job because it became illegal to not pay me anymore. But it was still like, it was like pocket money. It was like £100 a month or something crazy. But it was just like on paper to say that they weren't taking advantage. So that was that. And then the year was up, and my parents were divorcing, so my mum was moving back to the Midlands. So I was like, right, yeah, I'll go back to uni. I'll go back to the UK to go for uni. And then I went to the University of Nottingham and did English with creative writing. Firstly, bloody love Nottingham.
Oh, wow, you know, it's my hometown, so I'm a little bit partial to it.
I've always said, you know what, if we ever need to leave London, I'd be so happy to go back to Notts.
Yeah, it's really good fun.
But yeah, I did.
And it's close to Leicester as well, so your family that are there, you've got that, like, you've got that support network there as well.
That's why I went there in the first place.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, because I was like, can't be too far away. Like, my mum's just moved back to this country that she hasn't lived in for so long. Like, but yeah, I loved Notts. So I did English with creative writing, and that meant that honestly at uni, I would have to read like 5 texts a week, which was mental because you did 5 different sort of areas of English. So I did literature, language, old English, theatre, and poetry. Is that 5? I
think so, yeah. Just about.
And like, so for each module you had a text to go through every week, and I was just like always carrying around books because I was such an insufferable asshole, and I was like, I don't want a Kindle, I like real books. So I was just walking around with this huge bag of books.
Just, oh my God.
I don't know what I was thinking.
No one's gonna mug you if you've got a giant bag of books.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Get anything.
But I also can't run away if I've got a giant
bag
of
there's
books.
that.
But yeah, so I did that, and I fell in love really with the poetry side mostly, and the theatre side, and that's what I ended up specialising in like at uni. And that's why I love Nottingham so much, because it sounds so lame, but it's got such a cool spoken word scene. I really miss it. So like really cool, just like poetry slams, like really supportive. You'd rock up at a cafe, like you put your name down, and you'd go up to the front and just like speak your heart out.
This is like a random world that I know nothing about. I grew up there, and I can honest to God say I'd never been to a poetry slam.
Right.
Like, I didn't even know there were such things there. I didn't even know, no offense to anyone from Nottingham listening, that I didn't realise we were that deep. You've definitely heard of Redken, right? The brand that hairdressers swear by for amazing hair care and styling. Well, I've been a hairdresser for like 20 years now, and trust me, Redken has been a staple in my kit for years. Their products just work. They are powered by science, designed for pros, and there's literally a perfect match for every hair concern, whether your hair is feeling a bit dry, damaged, or it just needs that little bit of extra love. And if you've ever wondered how we get that next level glossy colour in my salons, it's Redken. It's our secret weapon. The shine it gives hair is unreal, and it actually leaves it feeling healthier, which is kind of magic. So if you're thinking about a little colour refresh, then ask your stylist about Redken. You won't regret it. Or you can find a salon near you at redken.co.uk. All right, now let's get back to what you're actually here for.
It's so much fun. But the thing is, I feel like I only knew about it because I did English at uni.
I mean, it must be if you know kind of situation.
Yeah, because here, there's got to be that kind of stuff in London, but I'm not in it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be it here.
Right, but I miss the Nottingham poetry scene.
Oh, that's so funny. The only thing I miss from Nottingham is those Thursday nights at Rock City.
Don't stop.
That was my life. That was my actual life for about 5 years straight. I kid you not.
No, oh my God, Ocean was my favourite.
Ocean.
I don't know. So did you go to uni or not? Did you go to uni?
I didn't go to uni. No. Like,
well,
one of my biggest regrets actually. But then at the same time, no, because I've done it without a degree. But I do feel like you know, setting you up with what you need to know if you're doing the right course, the right thing. Because obviously a lot of people go to uni and they're not as lucky to know what they want to do. So they go off on a tangent, and then it's kind of just an experience. But I feel like doing what I do now, if I'd known, I would probably have done a business degree.
Do you know what? Honestly, actually, looking back, I don't think my degree helped me.
No?
I think it would have been more helpful to just continue interning and being an assistant.
Interesting.
And working up the ranks that way. I think you'd get to where you want to be earlier.
Yeah.
And I think doing an English degree, I really think that writing is one of those things that you either have it or you don't. And I might be wrong, but I just feel like you can either write in a really lovely way, or you can't,
Yeah.
and your work is
Well, it's
littered.
a skill, and not everyone has the same skills. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And you can learn to an extent certain skills,
Yeah.
but it's like you can. If you think about singing, you're either a really talented, gifted singer,
Yeah.
or you've got to work really hard to try and get by.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like, do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And I mean, uni didn't teach me that. It taught me how to write a good essay or like analyze a text, but that's not what I do in my day to day.
No.
So I do think that I probably wouldn't do uni if I did this again. But
okay.
But however, I think uni was really, really helpful for me in terms of like becoming who I am.
Yeah.
I met my husband there, and I think coming from like a South Asian background, it was my first sort of like, it felt like a butterfly almost, like exiting my cocoon. Yeah. Like I was like, who am I? Like without sort of my family.
That probably did help you then, because then it defines your writing style, what you're interested in, perhaps.
You know what?
Because you have time. I think as a writer, you probably need to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but comfortable in knowing who you are.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you can have your voice.
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
true.
important to have a voice and stand out.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think like up until then, like I was 19 when I went to uni by that point. 17 when I was at Grazia, and then by the time I went to uni I was 19. And I had never even kissed a boy. Like I was just because like, you know, I come from a really Muslim family, and like we were always told like, no, boys are bad, you don't date, you just get married.
Wow.
And,
okay.
like, so I was always like, no, I can't kiss any boys. I can't like.
When you're living at home in Dubai, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
exactly.
So I suppose this is the first time out of that world.
And actually, I remember the first time I wore shorts in front of my now husband. I felt so guilty afterwards. I cried because I don't know, like I'd just grown up being like, that's slutty, basically, is what I thought of in my head. Like I could hear someone telling me you're behaving like a slut, and like. And I don't know where that's come from. Like, you know, my parents have never said you look slutty for it. But
no,
I think it's just a sort of
maybe how like like what your own thoughts when you're growing up and you're told not to do something. Exactly. You're liking it and you attach it to certain things, don't you? So that's just experience.
Exactly. And I think culture-wise, like there is a lot of emphasis placed on like being modest, and like when you visit your grandma, your arms are covered, and like, you know, you around your dad you don't wear a strappy top, and like so I found that sort of quite hard, and I think that's what university was really helpful for me, was figuring out who I am without these cultural strappings. And figuring out amazing. Because I grew up in Leicester obviously, and then I moved to Dubai, and then I went back to Notts, and it's like I had all these different aspects to myself. Like I'm of South Asian and African descent. I grew up in England, and then I moved to the Middle East, and I was like, who actually, like, who am I?
Identity crisis incoming.
Exactly. So it was good for that. But and then after uni, basically I couldn't, throughout uni, like it's sad to think about looking back, but me and my family, we didn't get on very well at that point.
Right.
And so your student loan is based on how much your parents earn and stuff like that, right? And to be fair, my mum didn't earn a lot anyway, and she was on benefits, so I got the most student loan that you could anyway. But then when things kind of went tits up with my family, that meant that basically I couldn't apply for a student loan because I didn't have parents that would vouch for me. So then I had to what do you do? Well, so with a bunch of stuff that had happened, luckily or whatever, I had like police statements, and so the police could give a statement saying this girl's on her own,
right? And
I had like the uni therapist and stuff like that have to give a statement to say this girl's estranged, right? And then basically you have to apply for like as an estranged student.
Okay, fine. So it's like so it doesn't go then on your family.
It's like a whole process, and it was a struggle because you have to like relive all this horrible stuff to prove that you're alone. And do you know what I mean? Like it was not nice.
No, of course it's not.
But then it meant that I got my loan, but then it also meant that I kind of had no fallback for those last 2 years of uni. So then it got quite hard, and I was like working in the day at Swarovski in the Vic Centre.
I know exactly what you mean. Like that's I know exactly what you mean.
And then at night I was working at a club, like clean up people's sick.
God, stop.
And then I'd rock up to my seminars or whatever at 9 in the morning or 9:30. I'd be like, I'm so sorry, I had to open the shop this morning. I'm late. like it was a bit of a struggle. And then after that, I didn't have enough money to like go to London and be an assistant, right? So I actually stayed in Nottingham, and I worked at Nottingham City Council for a bit
Yeah.
in the marketing team. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, I bloody loved it. It was like an easy job. Like
Yeah.
the team was nice. Like, and I I loved knots.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And actually, COVID was a great time for me. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for saying that, because actually it was such an awful time for so many people. But for me, like working at the council, I was on furlough. So I think I was earning like 12 grand a year without doing anything. And then I'd adopted my dog the September before COVID kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really messed up when I got him.
Yeah.
He was so scared of the world. And then with lockdown, it meant that the world was a bit quieter. And so I could just spend all my time training him and going on my 1 hour walk a day with him, and like it was actually the best time ever, and it was sunny.
God, yeah, to be fair, I did quite enjoy lockdown, I can't lie.
Right?
It was great.
It was lovely. And I think not having that financial pressure, because Nottingham, our rent was much cheaper than it is now, and that 12 grand did like for free essentially really sustained us. And then basically after I saved up as much as I could to then try and make the move to London, but even then I couldn't make the move to London on an assistant salary. I was like, do you know what, maybe I'll have to give up on that, because I can't.
So how did you go from like Nottingham to London?
So then that's why I went into copywriting.
Right.
Because copywriting's paid more than journalism and editorial.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I went to Cult Beauty as a junior copywriter, and I was paid 25k.
Wow. Okay. And did you do that? Did you move to London to do that, or did you do that remotely?
Moved to London to do that.
Okay, fine.
Because at the time, nobody knew how long COVID was going to last.
No.
So this was like July 2020, I think.
So we'd come out of lockdown, and then the first one. And is that when you moved?
Exactly. And they were like, yeah, COVID's over, you need to be in the office, so get your ass here. And I was like, okay,
sure, I'm away.
And my husband's amazing, and he's always been really, because he didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life, so he was like, well, we may as well upend it for your career, because you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
So we all like came to London, and but then obviously we were in and out of lockdowns for a little while, but I had this job at Cult Beauty, and I was just writing copy all the time, and it was beauty copy. And when I had worked at Grazia for that year, I knew, well, my editor said to me, she was like, you need to decide whether you want to do fashion or beauty.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really do both. Like, you need to specialize. And I was like, okay. And I knew that I was a beauty girl.
Yeah,
really.
well, I mean, that hairdresser aspiration.
Yeah.
Like, brings it back to that beauty thing, doesn't it?
I was such a beauty girly. So then when I got this copywriting job at Cult, I was like, oh my God, this is me. Like, writing about beauty products. It was nowhere near as fun and glam.
So were you the cool person that writes, you know, you're on Cult Beauty and it's like, why it's cool?
Yes.
Is that you? Was that you? Oh my God. That's cool.
There are so many product descriptions that were me.
Oh, because they are actually very good. So,
I loved it because they allow you to be so witty.
Yeah, it's very witty. Yeah. That's why I like it. Because I'm like, this is different. Like, it's cool.
Yeah. Like, I think there was one palette and it was called like, I don't know, like some disco palette or something. And it was like all these bright different colours. And I put all these references to knots in there. I was like, this palette will have you wanting to dance an ocean, and
oh my God, amazing,
yeeting WKDs across the floor or something. I don't know. And I somehow managed to
get it in there,
get all that into this description of a palette, and I was like, I can't believe this is my job.
That's amazing.
Like, crazy. I loved that job for a while, but then I think I ended up leaving because 25k in London doesn't actually stretch that far.
Nowhere. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know how much that works out to be each month.
Like nothing, like 2 and a bit.
I don't think it is 2 grand and
not
a bit.
After tax. Like,
no,
yeah.
I was gonna say, because 35k is like 2,300 after tax. So I think it's like 1,000 something I'd get in my account.
Yeah.
But our rent was 1,250. Then there were bills, which is actually, if you look back now, we live
in
Islington.
Cheap. Yeah, that's
cheap.
fine.
Yeah. 1,250. But I was only earning 1,000 something. But then plus bills, plus peanuts, pet insurance and stuff like that. And Jack didn't have a job.
Oh, okay.
Because he graduated uni a year later than me. So he was a year behind anyway. And then he graduated into the pandemic. He didn't know what he wanted.
Tough.
Yeah, he didn't know what he wanted to do. And he kept applying for all these jobs, but he didn't have any experience. And he couldn't just go out and get it because
pandemic.
Everything was closed.
Yeah.
And no one was hiring and everyone was having budget cuts. And so he was on benefits and I was on 25k. And that's ultimately why I left Cult. And also I was really overworked.
Yeah.
I would be writing until honestly like 3 a.m. and then I'd get up at like 9. And I think it's because we had a really small copy team.
Yeah.
They had a very small business mindset, but they weren't a small business
No,
anymore.
they're huge, aren't
yeah,
they?
they were huge. And this was, to be fair, this was pre-acquisition. They've been bought by the Hut Group now.
Yeah.
I left just as they were being acquired, but they were huge. And there was only like 4 of us doing all the products online, and we get hundreds all the time, like each week. All the emails that go out, all the social captions, like all the other random bits of copy on site, all the copy that goes in the boxes and your slips when you get your package.
Yeah, it's all
like,
need to be written.
Yeah, and it was just 4 of us, and it was mad.
God.
And I was like, for 25k, it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
I can't do this anymore.
And I just remember actually, like, me and Jack were walking Peanut in the woods one day, and he was like, you need to quit. He was like, even if we both have to go on benefits, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Like, you need to quit. But then I didn't need to do anything that drastic. I ended up getting my next job, which was at the Estée Lauder companies.
Amazing.
And like, that was so fun. I think Cult
What did you do at Estée Lauder? Was it still copywriting?
It was still copywriting, yeah. So it was different though, because at Cult it was all the copywriting that, you know, like about all these different beauty products and stuff. And I feel like my beauty knowledge expanded so much there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like,
not if you write about 100 products
right,
a day.
exactly.
No.
Like, I learned so much about ingredients.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what was hot. I knew what brands were coming when. Like, I knew before everyone else because we needed to put it on the website for you guys. Like, it was so fun. And then at Estée Lauder, it was very different because Estée Lauder brands are quite like, I hesitate to say old-fashioned, but they are
legacy.
That's exactly it. They're legacy brands, right? You've got Clinique, Estée Lauder, MAC, Bobbi Brown. And so it was less about innovation and more about campaigns and stuff like that. I was they have like an in-house creative agency called The Studio, and all the different brands, so like Bobbi Brown, La Mer, whatever, when they need a campaign doing, they will brief it into The Studio. Right. And that's where I worked. So I worked across all these different brands on campaigns. And so this was completely different because before I was part of a copy team and just worked on copy and that was it. But here I was working with like the art directors, the videographers, the photographers, everyone to basically, and like with these working really closely with these art directors to come up with these campaigns, come up with the idea.
Oh wow, so much more creative.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But then, and I was there for, I think maybe like two years, and I ended up sort of leading all the copy there, signing it all off. Like, I was the go-to copy person, and then I didn't really feel like I could grow anymore. Yeah. And I also felt like, you know, Cult was so fun, but I felt Estée, the sort of nature of the job was fun, but the campaigns and the products weren't anymore, right? Like, there just wasn't much innovation. Everything had to go past legal. Nothing... Yeah,
I mean, so much red tape in big companies
so
like
much
that.
red tape
in big companies. You can't be reactive.
Exactly.
And I suppose Cult being small business mindset, it's quick, it's reactive, and then, it's not the same.
It just, you know, they were like, okay, we want this amazing campaign that's going to go viral. Oh no, but we can't say that, we can't do that, we can't do that.
And the trend's passed, and then
yeah. So I was like, no, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I'm over this.
I'm over it. And then, and actually, do you know what? It's probably quite important to say, because this happens to a lot of people, but me and my managers just didn't get on. We grated so much. And actually, when I first joined, my creative director, I loved her so much. Yeah. And she left, and the lady that replaced her was just horrible. No,
I think culture is a massively important part of a workplace. And if that changes and, you know, you do great, you spend so much time at work. Like,
exactly.
It has to fit.
And it got to the point where, I don't know, like, she was the kind of boss that, like, if she noticed you'd go offline for 5 minutes, she'd message you being like, what are you doing? And so
she's got the time to monitor everything like that.
I don't, honestly, it was mad. And so I started to get anxious to, like, go for a wee or, like, do you know what I mean? And I think when that started happening, plus I felt like I wasn't growing anymore. I was like, okay, time to go. Yeah.
You've definitely heard of Redken, right? The brand that hairdressers swear by for amazing hair care and styling. Well, I've been a hairdresser for like 20 years now, and trust me, Redken has been a staple in my kit for years. Their products just work. They are powered by science, designed for pros, and there's literally a perfect match for every hair concern, whether your hair is feeling a bit dry, damaged, or it just needs that little bit of extra love. And if you've ever wondered how we get that next level glossy colour in my salons, it's Redken. It's our secret weapon. The shine it gives hair is unreal, and it actually leaves it feeling healthier, which is kind of magic. So if you're thinking about a little colour refresh, then ask your stylist about Redken. You won't regret it. Or you can find a salon near you at redken.co.uk. All right, now let's get back to what you're actually here for.
And so that's finally when I took the leap into being freelance, because at this point Jack had a job.
Yeah.
Thank God. that job had paid me 35k a year. And I was like, okay. Oh, and we're so lucky. We've got really, by London standards, cheap rent now. We'd found this place. We pay our landlord, and it's not via like a letting agent.
So it's like direct with them.
So it's so much cheaper. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go freelance. Bloody hell, I think that anyone that wants to go freelance needs to be really realistic, because I'm sorry, but unless you're rich, you're gonna be struggling. I was like earning, okay, do you know what, it depends on the
job.
Of course. Okay, personally though, I consider myself to be a successful writer, okay? But when I first went freelance, I was earning like £200 a month.
Oh my God.
It was really hard.
How do you build up a client base then?
And I think that's what it is. It's because you need to build up your client base.
Yeah, of course.
And I'd gone from only working in magazines in the Middle East. And then, to be fair, I had done some freelancing throughout Cult and Estée. And I think that's what helped me go full-time freelance, is because I'd been doing it.
Because you have to build it up. You can't just go from Cult, like it can't start cold start. It's too much.
Exactly. So while I was at Cult and Estée, I'd been freelancing for there's this magazine called Another Magazine, and it's owned by Dazed. I've been doing some freelancing for them, and some bits and bobs for Grazia Middle East still, but from the UK, obviously, from my jobs here. And that gave me the confidence to kind of take the leap. But I needed to dip my toes into the UK journalism market more.
So you wanted to step away from copywriting so much and get back into like the journalism.
Exactly. I was like, journalism's what I always wanted to do. Copy was only ever because I couldn't afford to do journalism. And now, like, I've solidified myself in London. Maybe I can do my dream now. That's what the idea was. And so, I had my contacts at Another, and I had my contacts at Grazia Middle East, but using them, I wrote for them, and then really worked on like getting my name noticed, getting my bylines noticed, getting my name on PR lists, going to all these events, emailing the absolute shit out of all these editors' inboxes, and being like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm a really good writer, and I've written for the Middle East for this many years. Like, I want to write for the UK now. This is going to be what I'm doing full time now. Please commission me. Please email me work. And it's quite hard because being freelance on a pitch by pitch basis, right? Each magazine has a different rate. So usually I'm quite open with how much each magazine pays you, but I don't want to get a job.
No, fair. So no, don't. Yeah, they've all got different rates.
For example, say one magazine might say our flat fee is £150 per article. One magazine might be £250 per article. One magazine might be 20p per word. Like, they all have these flat rates. However, they all have tight budgets, and they all have a pool of writers that they like to commission each month. So there's a bunch, you're all competing for the same budget basically. And so that means that you might end up with 1 or 2 articles per magazine per month. And say you've got 2 articles at £150 from one place, an article for £200 at another place. Overall, say you've got, realistically, you're maybe going to get 3 or 5 different magazines, various commissions from them. That's not actually a lot of money.
It's not when you add it up, is it?
No, and then obviously you have to do your own tax and stuff.
So you can get rid of like 20 to 40% of that straight away.
So that's why at the beginning I just wasn't earning a lot at all. And I was getting maybe a couple of commissions a month whilst I was getting my name out there, and that's why I was earning like 200 quid.
Wow.
And so I had to rely on Jack, and I think he earned like 28k at the time. So we'd kind of swapped. We'd gone from like, when I was at Court on 25, now he's...
But at some point, like, this has to change.
Exactly. Exactly. But do you know what? I think that's really important about being in a relationship, is like, I supported him and he had no job, and it was COVID and times were tough, and now it was his turn.
That's what you do, isn't it? You have each other's back, and that's like how it works.
Exactly.
So how did it get to the point now? Because obviously I know you because I think we've done pieces together for like Refinery29 and things like that. So it's like, how did you finally I feel like trying to crack this egg? Like, how did you get to where you're now? Like, actually, because I see you at events now and like different things. I'm like, gosh, she's living her life.
It was literally just, honestly, just harassing PRs and editors. Like, I still tell girls, when girls slide into my inbox now, they're like, how do I get in? I'm like, you just need to keep emailing, like, editors are so busy and their inboxes are so full. and you're gonna feel really annoying. But they just, it's impossible for them to reply to every email, and that's why you get ignored. And I do it too. Like, I'm really bad in my inbox. And so basically, I would just make sure that every PR on this earth, in London, knew who I was, and that I was open for commissions, and I was writing for the X, Y, and Z. And so even though at the time I was only writing for Another and Grazia, I'd make sure I'd say that, like, hey, I'm writing for Grazia and Another. I need to be kept in the loop with launches, so that I can continue writing and getting you coverage, basically. And then and then I'd be emailing editors, like I say, getting those commissions. And at the beginning, it wasn't a lot, but each month you'd get more. And then more editors are taking note because you're getting more and more bylines. And it just kind of snowballed. But it did start off really small, and it did feel like such a bit of a
slow grind.
battle, And you feel kind of like, what have I done? Because you're working all the time, like, doing all these emails, but also meeting all these PRs and going to all these events and making sure that your face is seen, but you're not getting any money for it. So you're like,
of course, how do I capitalize on this? Like,
but it did just kind of snowball. And and now, like, I write for Vogue, Glamour, Cosmo, Grazia, Dazed, Refinery29, The Independent.
Like, oh my god, it's so good, isn't it?
It's really good.
It's quite nice to do things like this and have a conversation, because I don't know if you're like me, I never look back on things. I'm always like, what's next? How do I keep going? And it's like, actually, when you sit down, you're like, fuck, I did all of that. And I was like, what on earth? Like,
what the hell? Like, Jack likes to remind me, he's like, 2 years ago, you were too scared to go for a wee at Estée Lauder. So whenever I'm like, no, Jack, what's next? Like, I'm not doing good enough. He's like, no, you are.
No, you are.
You need to chill.
Yeah, you're too scared to have a wee. And now, you're writing for Vogue and Refinery and all of these amazing publications.
Exactly.
Do you have to, like, I'm always curious of this, like, do the magazines obviously select you to write about certain things, or do you pitch ideas to them?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. So, for example, like at Glamour, I'll say to them, hey, I'm available for this much work this month.
Yeah.
And they'll come back being like, amazing, like, we need someone to write this. And I'm like, okay, cool. If I can write that, I will write that.
Yeah.
Whereas some, like Refinery29, they have a really specific voice, and they really push the boat out in terms of their content, and they like their articles to really say something. And so they like people to pitch to them because they like to have really unique individual stories.
I feel like, have you written a few things about you personally, haven't you, for those and stuff? Yeah. I've read a few things like about telling you to go home and going back to Leicester. Was that for Refinery?
It was. So,
that was amazing.
Last year in the UK we had those horrible racist riots, didn't we? And that week was really stressful for a lot of people of colour and a lot of Muslims. And I said to Refinery, I was like, this isn't beauty, but I'm feeling a type of a way, like, and I would love to write about it. And so I think the title of that piece is they tell me to go home, but I don't think they mean Leicester. And that was a really incredible piece. And actually, I've written quite a few pieces about being like South Asian and in the UK and whatever, and the response to them is always incredible. Like, I always get so many people in my inboxes saying, like, I read your piece and, like, this representation is so important to me. I felt so alone, and I've never seen this kind of thing be discussed in the media before, and I'm so grateful. And I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I just wanted to let you know. And I'm like, oh my god,
nice. Oh my god, that's so nice. And it's so nice that what you do can transcend beauty and have these amazing impacts on people as well, because that is, like you say, underrepresented and not spoken about.
Gosh, 100%. I think there's only, like, on top of my head, I can only think of like 5 Muslims in the industry that I can think of. So out of, like, editors and PRs and stuff, I can only think of like 5 Muslims, and that's crazy because Islam is the second biggest religion in the UK, and I think that the lack of diversity in this industry is massive, and in every way, in terms of like sexuality, in terms of color, like religion, just every which way, size, like there's the lack of diversity is huge in the industry, and I'm happy to be able to diversify it a little bit, help and push for that. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm in the industry therefore it's diverse, because it's not.
It's not.
But like, I'm happy that I get to write and help people feel heard to an extent, you know.
No, and also it's be an inspiration for those that want to get into it and follow in your footsteps, that perhaps have parents that say that they can't do something a certain way, and then it's like, you know, they can see you doing that, and, you know, having been through like all of that shit to get to
Yeah.
where you are,
Yeah.
it's like actually very inspirational. And I think it's one of
Yeah.
them, again, another reason that I think it's important we do this podcast, because
Yeah.
like, you know, to show women that are listening that are stuck scared going for a
Yeah.
wee, or
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like thinking that
exactly.
you actually don't need to do that,
100%.
girls. Like
100%.
it's crazy.
And it's interesting actually, because the beauty side is fun, but you think, how much can beauty really change someone's life, right? You know, when I say to someone, oh, I'm a journalist, they're like, wow, that's crazy, that's so important, you must be on the front lines and war zones. And I'm like, no, I'm not that kind of journalist.
Basically, it's a 4 on sale day.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Exactly. I write about lipsticks, babe. So, but actually, so for example, I wrote this article that was like, why does everyone hate it when I dye my hair? And I had pink hair at the time, and people kept being like, oh, I like your pink hair, but I preferred it black. And I was like, can you just leave me alone? Anyway, I wrote this article, and I ended up getting some girls reach out to me being like, you know, I actually love this article, and I love that you wrote about having pink hair, and I love that you have pink hair, because as a South Asian, I didn't think that I could do that. Like there's a culture, I wrote about this in the piece, that there's like a cultural stigma attached sometimes, that like people of color are looked at differently if they conform to these fun trends. And I don't know, it was just really exciting to be able to affect people in that way, even just in terms of beauty. Like, that was so fun. That
is amazing.
Right.
I feel like I can't also end this podcast yet, because I need to ask you about, because obviously we spoke about Jack and you being married, and like, and there's a whole multifaceted thing about this, because you got married on Zoom in COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I know this isn't related to your career, but I was like, this is just something that I know that I need to ask you about.
Okay, so basically, look, in Islam, it says in the Quran that women can't marry men that aren't Muslim.
Yeah.
And so that's
and Jack isn't Muslim,
he
right?
wasn't,
Yeah.
So that's what caused all of the contention with my family.
Right.
And because, you know, for starters, you don't bloody date. And I went to university, and I was like, I found this lad that I really like, and I'm going to date him. But he's also like not Muslim. And he's English. And I just, honestly, I don't know.
And that obviously went down like a lead balloon.
It went down like a lead balloon. I don't know what gave me the confidence to come out with that. I must have really liked it. Well,
you clearly really liked it.
But like at 19, how did I know that was he was worth going through that?
Yeah.
But so that's what caused the contention. And basically by the time we got married, we'd been together for like 3 years, I think. 3-4 years. We'd met when we were 19, and I think we were 23. So and the whole, like, I would say that I am a Muslim. Like, I'm not the strictest Muslim. Like some Muslims would say that I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a very good Muslim, but I would say that I'm a Muslim. Okay? Like, that's what I believe, and that's in my heart. Yeah. And so the fact that it said in the Quran, like, you can't marry a non-Muslim, did weigh on me. Yeah. And I said to Jack, I never want to change you. So like, if this is my thing to bear, then that's fine. Like, this is really deep. I was like, I will like face God on the day of judgment. That's my problem. I was like, in my heart though, also, I don't feel like God will throw me into hell for loving you. Like, I just don't think he will. Yeah. So, and that's how I kind of
rationalized it in a way.
Yes, exactly. And there are plenty of other things that I do that Muslims would say are really naughty, that you shouldn't do.
Yeah,
like,
I think everybody just thinks that
exactly. But a lot of the things I just always look at the Quran, and I'm like, is it in there in black and white? And if it's not,
then it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, exactly. But with Jack, because it has that passage, I was like, okay, that was weighing on me. And I think Jack knew that, because there was just like an element of guilt. Like, people talk about Catholic guilt all the time, similarly, right? Yeah. And so I just had that guilt on me. And so we sat down one day, and he was like, I'm ready to convert. And I had never, ever asked him to do that. Yeah. And the whole reason we had so much contention with my family is because he didn't want to convert. Right. And I didn't expect him to. We were like at 19. I'm not going to be like, hey.
No, it's very young, isn't it? As well. Yeah. It's like time to do them conversion classes.
Exactly. Like... Absolutely no way.
Here's your Quran.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. Do you know what? Like, bless her. That's exactly what my mum tried to do. Like, she basically gave him a bunch of like leaflets from the mosque and was like, okay, cool. You have to be Muslim, otherwise you're not being together.
And he's so young and that thing. But then when he's like, obviously, then he's now ready and gonna.
Exactly. It took 3 years, and then he was like, okay, I'm ready. And I mean, look, he is still exactly the same person. Yeah. Realistically, like, his journey with Islam is his own. Like, and a lot of people would say, oh, he just converted to get married. And yeah, that is exactly what he did. And I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
And that's my own. I just hate when people use religion as an excuse to judge other people, because I'm not here for that. Like, you do whatever the hell you want. Like, and I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
And as long as we're all lovely to each other,
What's
who
the problem?
cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I feel stronger about that than ever after everything that we've kind of been through. But yeah, so he did convert just to marry me, basically.
Yeah.
But we were really upfront with the imam about that. The imam that converted him. So actually, we spoke to him on Zoom because it was lockdown.
Yeah.
And Jack was straight up. He was like, look, I don't think I'm going to change. I want to be able to marry Humeara, so I want to convert for that. And the imam was like, brother, everyone's journey starts small. That's fine with me. He was like, there is time. Like, if you want to convert just for Humeara, then that's fine, brother.
Yeah. And that was it. And he helped him do it.
Exactly. And then basically, once Jack was converted, he said the shahada and like he was converted. And then the imam was like, okay, cool, you are reborn, you're free of sin. So now you need to get married ASAP.
Oh.
Because you are living together in sin, you're sharing a bed.
Right, okay.
And we just looked at each other and we went, yeah, why not?
So then how quick did you get married?
The next day. And then the imam was like, okay, cool, I will post in the imam UK group chat, find someone to marry you tomorrow. And we were like, okay, cool.
What?
And then the next day, we're just walking our dog. We get a text being like, yeah, gonna get married tonight at 7. And we were like, okay, cool. And it was quite, do you know what though? It was such a struggle. So Muslim women, I actually, do you know what? I don't know that much. Like if people don't come for me if I'm not quite right, but I think you have to have a certain amount of like, they're called mahrams, like certain amount of Muslim men to witness you get married,
right.
that you can't marry yourself. So like your dad or your brother, right? And like me and my brother don't get on that well, and he was being such a little shit. He was like, no, I'm not gonna witness your wedding. No. And I was like, can someone just give me enough Muslim men to get married tonight, please?
Yeah.
Like, please. And my dad was like, oh, I'm not gonna do it either unless your mum switches her camera off. And I was like, bloody hell.
So this is all a Zoom wedding. So all asking them to do is click on the Zoom link and watch you get married.
Exactly. So I'm like, I need these Muslim men to witness me get married. And in the end, my mum convinced my brother to witness it. So that was great. Yeah, my mum and my dad hate each other's guts. So he was like, yeah, I'll do it if your mum switches the camera off. I was like, right,
because he just didn't want to see your mum's face?
Yes.
Oh my God, hilarious.
I was like, Mum, switch your camera off. Just so
you've got to love a drama. It happens in every
religion,
every race. Yeah, like, 100%. It's so funny.
Well, this is another thing. I was like, do you know what? Actually, getting married, we've been together for however long anyway. Yeah. I do want to marry you eventually anyway. Yeah. And also, like, we kind of skip all the drama. Yeah. Like, imagine my parents being in the same room.
You can't turn a video off live and they're there, can you?
Exactly.
That's it.
And so we were like, yeah, why not? And it all felt very clandestine, and we just hopped in an Uber and went to this mosque that I couldn't even tell you where it was now. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I just got in an Uber and got out. Like, and this mosque was like you know how in London you have like townhouses and then you have like basements as well that are also utilized because we're all on top of each other. Yeah. This mosque was in a basement, and so we went down, and because we were in a basement, Zoom wasn't working, the internet wasn't strong enough, and it was bloody hilarious. I was just there feeling super uncomfortable and weird in a scarf, and the imam is there holding my phone, like trying to speak to my dad, like, Ahmed brother, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ahmed brother? And I was like, what is happening? What is my life? In the end, he was like, yeah, the internet's not working. We're going to have to go up to my flat. So we got married in the imam's front room.
This is literally giving like sitcom, isn't
it? You can make it up.
Oh my God.
We ended up getting married in the imam's front room. And yeah, we had the ceremony, which, you know what? There was a lot of like, I didn't love the ceremony. I don't know if you get to I don't know if in Islam the ceremony changes according to the imam. Like, I don't know if they can sort of put their own personal twist on it. Mine was quite God-fearing. It was like, may you have the fear of God in your relationship, whatever. And I was like, I don't like this.
This is terrifying.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. And interestingly, I think I said like one word. Like, it was all between Jack and my dad, which I didn't love either. Yeah. But fine, we moved. Yeah. And then after, oh my God, it was fucking jokes. After the ceremony's done, my friends and my parents are still on Zoom, and everyone's saying congratulations or whatever. And my mum goes, yeah, I wish you guys a really lovely, happy marriage and I hope that Jack treats you well because it's shit when they cheat on you, isn't it? And my best friend just went and started laughing, and then Jack started laughing, and I was like, guys, can we just keep it together?
Mute all, like quickly on the Zoom.
I was like, Mum, you could have kept it together for 1 hour.
God, she had to get it in there, didn't she?
She did. I don't blame her. Like, I get it. But it was just hilarious. It just adds to the sitcom vibes.
Oh my God.
Sitcom vibes weren't over
honestly
though.
the best marriage story I've ever heard.
Ridiculous. No, but the sitcom vibes weren't over because we were in this imam's living room and Jack's type 1 diabetic. Like, he was born with it. His dad's got it. If we have a child, I'll probably have it. And he didn't have his insulin with him. Like, why would he? We weren't planning on eating and it's lockdown.
Yeah.
But the imam's family come out with like samosas and stuff like that, and they're like, congratulations. And Jack's like, I can't eat. Like, I actually can't eat. And he just didn't get it. He was like, no, you can't, just a little bit, just a little bit. He's like, no, I actually cannot eat this. And he just did not get it. So Jack was like, I'm gonna have to pretend to eat this. It was just so absurd, the whole thing.
Oh my God, I feel like you just need to do a full social series on this wedding.
Right.
It's so
But yeah,
good.
that was it.
Oh my God.
One day, hopefully, we'll have like an actual wedding.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know how it is living in London and everything, it's expensive. Like, we have other priorities.
Yeah, no, that's true, exactly. And also, I think, honestly, Greg and I have been together 20 years.
Yeah.
We've been engaged for 6.
Yeah.
No wedding on the horizon.
Right, exactly.
So, you know, we're moving house tomorrow, so I've spent the money on a mortgage.
Right,
so
exactly.
I feel like, yeah,
That's
I'm
a
not.
sensible thing to do.
Yeah, it's different when it's religious
Yeah,
reasons and different things like that, obviously. But, you know, I'm not any religion, so I would just like think.
No, 100%. I mean, if that's, you have to decide what's going to bring you the most joy, right?
Exactly.
And like,
and also, you know, cutting out all of that like politics and like seating shit. And if you invite Mary, you've got to invite Dave, and Dave's sister then don't like her, and fuck that. And fuck spending like 200 quid a head on that.
100%,
like,
100%.
No.
And you know what else? Like, I quite stressed about the fact that I've got one very Muslim side of the family who don't drink, etc., etc. Jack's side of the family who are classic Northerners, like
Are they from
sailors.
Nottingham?
No, they're from this place called Chorley near like Preston, Manchester.
Oh, fine. Okay, yeah. So
and they drink.
Yeah, so that's going to be a whole blur that is going to be very difficult to navigate.
Exactly. So I'm like, do we have alcohol at this wedding? Do we not? Like, do we piss people off? I don't want that.
No. Right, I'm going to end on 5 really quick, fun questions.
Go on.
Okay. The best beauty product you've ever written about?
Oh my God, I've written about hundreds of beauty products. That's really unfair.
I know.
But okay, can I give you? Oh my God, can I give you best?
Best 3.
No, not even. I was gonna say, can I give you best brand?
Best brand, yeah.
Okay, I'm a makeup girlie. I'm a full coverage makeup girlie.
Yeah.
Because I've always had adult acne, and honestly, I really rate the Huda Beauty products.
Okay.
Every time I try the best and the best, right? The best of the best, and I always go back to my trusty Huda Beauty concealer.
Okay, good to know. So, one beauty trend you're absolutely obsessed with right now?
Oh, okay, it's a bit old now actually, but I'm gonna say copper hair. Bloody love it.
Yeah, you kind of got a copper vibe going on. I love it.
Love it.
And it's still relevant, so it's perfect.
All right, yeah.
Favorite book of all time, because obviously you studied writing.
Ooh. Do you know? No, that's actually really hard. That's like the beauty question, and I hated this because that was the first question everyone would ask at uni. Is like, what's your favorite book? I don't have a favorite book. I just like reading. But I'll tell you what my favorite genre is.
Yeah, what's your favorite genre?
It's fantasy, which is so fucking lame. anything with vampires in it, and I'm there.
Oh my God, you know what? Can relate. Fucking love it. Like literally. Okay, one beauty product you always have in your handbag.
Ooh, I always have
a concealer.
Yeah, Huda Beauty concealer. No, I actually always have like bog standard basic Aveeno hand cream. Okay, always.
Perfect. And your dream if you could, as a journalist, write about somebody, interview somebody, who's your dream person that you'd write about?
Right, I'm deciding whether or not to out myself here.
Out yourself. It's a safe space.
Right. No, do you know what though? It's because it probably will happen at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
manifest.
Well, okay. No, it probably will, because she has like time with journalists quite often. I just our times haven't aligned yet.
Right, who are we aligning with?
Basically, Hailey Bieber.
Obviously, because she's the fucking queen.
She's the queen. But also, this is so unfeminist of me. But I was a believer when I was a kid. I'm talking life-size posters in my bedroom.
Oh my God. Well, you're Gen Z, so I'm not
Well,
surprised.
yeah. And so I just feel like knowing that I've gone from this really embarrassing girl tweeting Justin Bieber on Twitter up until all hours of the morning because I really thought he'd reply to me one day, to then interviewing Hailey Bieber.
Yeah.
Feel like that, it'd just be quite a healing
That'd be a
moment
full
for me.
healing moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate to that because when I was at school, I was the biggest Spice Girls fan of anybody.
Yes.
I collected all the fucking photos, like all of the stickers. Like, I even had the Spice Girl platforms. And my first guest on this podcast was Sporty Spice.
Yes.
That was
Oh my God,
literally, so I
huge.
can totally relate. And that full circle moment
know-
like, is like, what the fuck?
I feel like I needed you to put that into context because,
Yeah.
okay, as a Gen Z,
Mhm.
I didn't get it. Like,
No.
I missed the Spice Girls. a
Yeah,
bit.
fine. You say,
I
yeah,
was
you know
like,
who they are, but
Of
like,
course, no, I know
so
who they
yeah.
are, but I'm not super excited
No,
by them.
yeah.
So I didn't get it.
This is it. This is why. Like, literally,
Right,
I
I
kid
get
you
it
not.
now.
I had Spice Girl themed birthday parties. I'm gonna literally like, Mal, if you do listen to this, I'm not a crazy super fan. I swear to fucking God. This was like, yeah,
No,
me and my
exactly.
sister were like obsessed. And yeah, so yeah, that is, I get that. But anyway, well, thank
Yeah.
you for joining me on the podcast.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I've never spoken about myself for so
Yeah,
long.
sorry, I make
Feel
people
very
do that.
conceited.
Yeah, like just bring out that narcissism. Let's take it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Perfect. Thank
It's
you
been
for coming.
amazing.
While I have you, it would really help me out if you could just hit follow or subscribe, depending on which platform you're getting your podcast from, and I can keep bringing you these amazing conversations with these incredible guests. And yeah, I will see you next week on the Silly Little Girls Club.